Hello world, it's 8:34 p.m. British summertime from London and Kent. And you're joined by man of the houses here and Josie Vinten. Josie, what's good?
I'm good, thanks. We all good?
Good. 23rd of April. We've just missed 420 Day and Earth Day as well, but it's still Taurus season.
Yeah, there's still lots of planets in Taurus, so we're all good.
As long as there's nothing in Gemini except the North Node, I'm happy.
Yeah. That's rude.
It is. Oh yeah, you're Gemini, isn't it? All
I
right.
know. I've got a few planets in Gemini. I feel attacked.
Nah, my North Node's in Gemini. I love Geminis, really. It's all good.
Yeah, I know you do. I know.
Yeah. So, 23rd of April is still Taurus season. Taurus, the mantra I have, its glyph, basically looking like the head and the horns of the bull, the fallopian tubes, the dates. As far as 2021 goes, 19th of April to 20th of May. Element, earth. It's sex, feminine. Mode, fixed. What's exalted? What's fallen? What's in detriment here? What's at home here? Venus is at home here. Mars is in detriment here. The moon is exalted here. Uranus is fallen here. What's its temperament? Phlegmatic. What does that mean? Taurus is associated with being relaxed and peaceful. What's the physical association with Taurus? The neck, the throat, the larynx. What's its archetype? The farmer. The farmer, 420, ganja farmer. We're going to get into it. So whatever you're doing, do whatever you need to do to feel relaxed, slow, chilled, just be. And me and Josie, we got you. Josie, what's good? How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Looking forward to this podcast. We've been long awaiting to actually do one together.
Yeah, don't look at it's just a chat, just how
Just
we
to
usually
chat,
chat.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit about Taurus. Should we go into it? Yeah.
Yeah, let's go into it.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think Taurus?
Well, obviously, like you said before, you've got that calm temperament, all about nature, just slowing down and like appreciating the beauty of life, really appreciating the material world and experiencing it through the senses. I'd say for me, that's one thing I really heavily associate with Taurus is the senses. And
Absolutely.
just, yeah, that's how it experiences the world. That's how it meets the world. And it's a very material sign, very realistic. It likes to believe what it sees and sees what it believes.
Yeah,
No less, no more.
absolutely. Very pragmatic, practical. It's the type of sign to,
Absolutely.
it's the type of sign to say, to just tell confusion, just get from around here. I don't have time for that. And
Yeah.
after Aries has established the I am motto and has done screaming I am all over the place, Taurus is chilling. Taurus is
Yeah.
chilling on solid ground, just being, just having plants, nature, literally the time to deal with being rooted and planting as well. So the solid foundation as well is also correlates with Taurus. The interesting thing about Taurus is Taurus being out to create and hold on to basically gives away the essence of its possessive quality, and I've
Yeah.
known many a native with Taurus moon or strong Taurus placements. That's like what's mine is mine. Even one of my really, really, really good friends I haven't seen in ages, the irony. And we just used to chill and
Yeah.
grab a munch. And I couldn't believe it sometimes this guy's fork is reaching into my plate. Taurus, Taurus, the type to just, I know there's Taurus qualities when they've just got pictures of shoe boxes just stacked to the sky.
Yeah. They like to hold on to things.
And values. Also, not just possessions, but food. You know, they love the food, the support, and
Yeah.
one word which is one of my favorite words, and this word so ties into Taurus: connoisseur.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate on
Hell yeah. Taurus is
that?
associated with premium
Yeah.
and familiarity as well. Now, with familiarity comes experience of the finest, you know. So I
Yeah.
associate Taurus with people who like the finest things, the finest wine, the wine, you know, the people who sniff the wine and they take their time. I'm just like, look at these guys. Who these guys think they are, you know? Or like MasterChef, expecting the
Yes.
premium, even if it's just, that's not going to make you full, but just the
Yeah.
art, the exquisiteness, the premium quality. Quality is such a big word that
I agree.
that just falls under that Taurus umbrella, you know. And if I'm to think of Taurus and people associated with Taurus,
Yeah.
there are three people, you know, off the top of my head.
Okay, who are
The first, me growing up watching wrestling, I'd never watched that.
they?
Me growing up watching wrestling, I remember the genesis of this guy way before he blew. I knew he was going to be a star anyway. And he got introduced as Rocky Maivia. That's how he first came into the scene. Later on, he would have a tattoo of the bull. He was nicknamed the Brahma Bull.
Okay, yeah.
And he goes by the name of none other than The Rock. And that's Dwayne Johnson, who just happens to be a Taurus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he's so strong and stable.
Perfect.
Nothing can move him.
But yeah, obviously he's a beast, but Taureans are funny as well, you know. Taureans are funny as well. And yeah, he embodies that, you know. So he was the Brahma Bull, he was called The Rock, he's a Taurus, pretty much does what it says in the tin. So a lot of people, same with Sizzler as well. Sizzler, one of my favorite artists. I think he's got a lot of strong Aries energy. And these people they intuitively know their nature and they put it out to the world. Hence The Rock, Sizzler. There's other names as well. But also Mr. T.
Yeah.
So even though Mr. T is just about made it to Gemini, unfortunately for him. He's got a lot of planets in Taurus, and when you see him in Rocky, just when you see his face, you know, literally Taurus, the bull, the bully, you could just see it in their face. Yeah. A lot of them, you know. And
yeah, very strong and like wide set, I feel like, as well, like a strong presence.
Strong presence. That solidness, you just see it.
Yeah.
And he had
wide necks.
The necks. Yeah. You know, and he always had the same bling, the same amount of bling and that same haircut. So that familiarity and that sturdiness, and he seemed like a connoisseur of bling, you know, way before that he even got coin bling, you know what I mean? And then another one of my favorites is a rapper, Ghostface Killer. And even in his track he's got a track with Tiana Taylor, and he goes, you know, I'm stubborn, right? Taurus the bull. And he has done the most storytelling. He's great at storytelling in his raps. I love rap. But yeah, that's just the three people I personify with. But yeah, what about you? What about you? Do you think, has anyone come to mind, or anyone else?
I mean, celebrity Taurus is not that many, but when I think of people I know and like just you describing those people, then they do come to mind. Like I know one person, and again, he's in the music industry, very stubborn, like you say, very possessive, but really like knows himself, really sure of himself, like calm, cool, collective, and kind of like commands a room without, it's not really that like Leo, like look at me, it's just like effortlessly cool. And you know, puts himself out there. It's very like authentic. Like I've never looked to the rest of his chart. Obviously don't know his birth chart, his birth time, but that's one person. I won't mention his name, obviously, because I don't want to be like that, but
you don't want to get a lawsuit. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know what I find interesting about earth signs following the fire signs?
Yeah.
Virgo, for example, chills in the background after Leo is performing in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Now,
very modest.
Yeah, and just to be clear, not every Leo is flamboyant, like, hey, look at me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But Virgo does bring to the table the whole mentality of making less mistakes, working in the background. Similarly to that, Taurus following Aries, who do now think later, Taurus will slow down, slowly and steady wins the race, you know?
Yeah.
And
they want to do things over a long time that produce good, long-standing results.
Exactly.
A good foundation. Aries doesn't care. Aries just wants to get it done.
Oh yeah. Aries is wild, spontaneous, and then you obviously got Capricorn as well, which is like after Sagittarius is aiming for the sky.
Yeah.
Capricorn is like, right, let's concrete this into a profession or a career or a vocation, and let's cement this ambition. Let's merge this on earth as it is in heaven, kind of thing. Earth, literally.
Yeah. It's sort of like they all kind of ground the like sporadic fire energy from the sign before.
Absolutely. But Taurus is really reliable, solid. And the one thing I like is that you see the 12 houses. So me, I didn't even introduce myself, I'm such a waste man. I go by the name of Man of the Houses, Echo. So Taurus being a second sign obviously correlates with the second house. So what do I mean by that? So second house being an area of life or an area of development is a lifestyle, and we can look at it as a lifestyle and work experience for the soul. Associated with themes of the second sign, Taurus. So building, preserving. Remember, we said a solid foundation. So Taurus likes solid ground. So building, preserving. What Aries has started, Taurus is preserving. What Aries has not finished, Taurus preserves in it for the long run. And basically, that second house is like, what are your principles saying? Where's your strength, your determination, your endurance at? So, and that's also pertains to Taurus natives as well, So, but you know a lot about that. You know a lot about the Taurian qualities. And being the head and horns.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with Taurus. It's not just so simple. People just usually say Taurus is stubborn, Taurus likes to eat. But I have a lot of respect for Taurus being a sign pertaining to nature. How can you not love nature? Same thing that brought you here and can take you out. And Taurians have these natural traits about them. And they believe in the natural order of things. So that's another reason to their chill as well. You feel me? So
they sort of trust the timing of things. There's no like rushing it.
And if they're like, if you've got some wild variety of opinions and ideas, literally they'll smell bullshit.
Yeah, it's true.
But let's go into Taurus and the archetype of farmer. And 420.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready to dive in. As you know, I have a Taurus rising and Saturn and Jupiter in Taurus. So
master.
all about I
Master
know.
of Taurean matters. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. So where should we start?
Which, yeah, I mean, I looked into the history of 420,
Yeah, nice.
which was interesting. But there's
Wasn't it
so
like a few
there's
kids that
exactly
decided to meet at a certain
at a
time?
certain time, 4:20 p.m. So that's definitely one of them, or the most. That seems to be the notion that's withstood the test of time. With regards
Yeah.
to if that's the way it means.
Hmm.
So, and 420 over here, 20th of April, people will be in Hyde Park, especially. The last time I went
Out
there,
in nature.
yeah, the last time I went there, I was just high just being there. You know? So, but yeah, how do you feel there's a correlation between 420 and Taurus, with 420 just 20th of April and its unofficial
Yeah.
marijuana weed CBD day tying into Taurus season? Do you see any correlations there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, the timing's just spot on considering I don't know when that date was made.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know we talked about previously, obviously off record, that Black the Ripper, who's known for, being an activist for cannabis and all this kind of stuff,
Mm,
actually died in April 2020, which was the whole
that's
month
crazy.
of 420. Yeah, like what are the
Yeah.
chances of that? So there's that, just a little thing.
Before you continue,
Yeah,
rest in peace, Black the Ripper.
yeah,
That guy,
absolutely.
he put out a solid body of work. He spoke his mind. He was authentic.
Yeah.
And I listened to his Afro Samurai mixtapes. And obviously, he was one of my boys as well. So
Yeah.
it was actually a track. There's a few tracks, but he used to go in. He did his thing. Had his Dank of England brand, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And he
Yeah.
stood his ground as well. And we actually looked at his chart. No
Oh,
Taurus in there, sadly.
Capricorn, right?
But yeah, he's
Yeah.
Capricorn, and he had Mars and Jupiter in Pisces, and he
Damn.
had 3 planets in Virgo as well, which
Yeah.
both signs also have connections with weed, but we can go into that
Yeah.
later on.
Let's go into it later on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's
I
funny
know.
because there's a few, you see some overtones and some emphasis, like aspects for those new to astrology, is the dialogue, the conversations. When you see those lines between two planets in astrology, like let's say the sun and the moon, you see that line, that's the conversation, the description of the interaction that's happening between these two planets. And you might hear me say this a lot in a few episodes, but conversation is very important in relationships, and that line shows the relationship. So let's take Be Real from Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
He's the number one stoners in hip hop, and he's got moon opposite Neptune. So firstly, what does the moon mean? The moon, security, your early attachments, reacting, things that secure you,
Comforts.
the
Yeah.
comforts, the private you. And that's in conversation with Neptune. It's a bit of a Saturnian conversation because there's opposition. So there's conversation between the moon and Neptune, which is the trance, the yearning, the bliss. Now with the trance, obviously weed can take you into that trance state.
Yeah, and also that wanting to escape.
Hell yeah. And the moon is the day to day as well. So
Yeah.
the thing with astrology is people be concentrating on their sun signs, because obviously that's who we want to be seen as. Me being a sun in Virgo, I want you to see me as a Virgo. I'm going to project all my Virgo, the healthy me, the skills, the service,
exercising,
all the burpees, all of that. But I'm a Capricorn moon, and achievement and being, I can be reserved, stern, with all that earth, definitely down to earth. But Yeah, it's the Capricorn, because that's the day-to-day me. Even before
Yeah.
I grow into the sun, which is a journey, a process of development, I'm going to carry out the moon first. And that's the same with Be Real as well. He's gonna do the moon before he does the sun, and he's got moon opposite Neptune. Moon Neptune, I find quite prevalent in a lot of natives who at some point in their life yearn for the trance state. How do you feel about that?
I mean, to be honest, like obviously, I'm only just getting into aspects, so I haven't looked at many, but I do have someone that I suspect might have this in their chart. So let me just have a little look. And this person that I'm looking at actually has moon in Taurus, and they smoke weed every day.
Who's that?
Do you say who?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my relatives. Don't
Okay.
really want to say them on here.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Don't out them, but
no. Mad love to your relatives, obviously. Yeah.
So they have got. Let's have a look. I'm sure they had something. So they've got moon sextile Jupiter in Pisces. So again, there's that Pisces undertone. What else have they got? Oh, they have got moon trine Neptune here. I don't know exactly what that means, but maybe that has something to do with it. Again, that like moon Neptune kind of feel to it.
I'm telling you, moon Neptune.
Yeah.
Now, you probably know this guy's chart better than I do.
Okay, go for it.
This guy is probably there'll never be a more well-known. Arguably.
Obviously, I know who it is. It's Snoop Dogg, isn't it?
He's a superstar stoner,
Yeah.
Snoop. So I wasn't going to mention him though.
He's an interesting one. Like, I like his chart. I didn't look at the aspects. I didn't get that far, but there were things I noticed in his chart. Like, for a start,
go for it.
He's got the Taurus rising, same as me. Hey, and obviously, like your rising sign is your personality. Like the front door to your chart is what you show the world, how you present yourself, like the face that you show people on first impressions. And Taurus being connected to weed as it is, that pretty much is his whole front. Like the person that he shows, he's known for being a stoner. So I found that interesting. And then also he has no planets in an earth sign whatsoever. And obviously, like with lack of the earth element, sometimes you can overcompensate for that by indulging in very earthy kind of things, whether that's like the physical body or like in this situation weed, like he does. So yeah, I found that interesting. I didn't look at the aspects. I don't know if you did, but I'd be interested to know what kind of aspects he's got going on. Yeah.
What I know about Snoop, and
yeah,
I know you are really good with the correlating a certain sign, which we can leave that for later. With the marijuana use, but what I see, I go straight for Neptune,
of course, because it's that escapism, that illusion.
Yeah, and he does it big. He's got the Jupiter Neptune conjunction. I have that as well. I'm just
okay.
Not as much. I know he's got Mars in all 22 degrees. That number I keep seeing, but yeah, he doesn't. He's only got the midheaven in Capricorn, and that midheaven.
Yeah. Oh, and as well, obviously, like midheaven is your career, so and he has sort of made a career out of being a stoner in a way. So that's sort of where his earth manifests in his rising sign, how he shows himself to the world, and in his career. Interesting.
So he's a 0 degree Taurus rising, isn't he?
Yeah, literally 0 degrees. So he's just getting started.
0 degrees. The interesting point with 0 degrees, I know that myself, having a lot of planets in 0 degrees, when there's a point or a planet at 0 degrees, that's the part of you that cannot wait to jump in and do that sign. So
Yeah. He's got Pluto as well, 0 degrees.
look at that.
And Neptune at 1 degrees. I don't know if that counts, but
With Pluto, there's like, Pluto's also an obsession as well in some regards, you know?
yeah, very intense kind of vibe. There's no getting away from Pluto.
Very. And, you know, in his second house, he's got Saturn in the second house, which is mastery as well, isn't it? So
Yeah, and obviously the second house is linked to Taurus, so
that's that connoisseur energy as well. And he talks about
yeah.
it, you know, like his first album, every album, you know, just I
Yeah.
think of that Dre track with Nate Dogg, Smoke Weed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The one that everyone knows.
Yeah, the next episode, all of that.
Yeah.
But you've also got Redman. You know, you've got quite a few guys. You've got Redman, you've got Willie Nelson as well.
Yeah.
And Tommy Chong from there's Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
And Ice Cube as well. And these guys have got these guys have got planets in Taurus, you know. That Venus in Taurus or Mercury in Taurus is kind of hard to ignore. So
yeah,
looking at correlations perspective, you see that Mercury in Taurus is sort of like communicating with Mother Nature or Earth, you know.
yeah,
be a mom of the
and
Earth.
having an interest in it as well and being drawn to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and with Taurus tying into agriculture, there's one of my favorite songs still is Ganja Farmer by Marlon Asher, a big reggae track, and that just really ties in with that whole Taurus and 420 association as well, you know?
Yeah.
Just chilled, slowed down. I mean, a lot of people don't draw the as above, so below correlations as well. So
yeah,
a little bit of astrophysics here.
Venus, go on.
Venus actually is the planet that takes the most time to rotate on its axis.
Okay, that's interesting because it rules over slow moving Taurus.
Exactly. So that can, even Sue Tompkins covers that in that Contemporary Astrologer's Handbook, and basically correlates it to the lazy qualities of Taurus. The indulgence, just taking its sweet time. You think Taurus likes being rushed? Hell no.
Not at all. I'm the same with my Taurus rising. Don't rush me.
I know a few people like that. Yeah. Taurus rising. Some Taurus rising. I know a few. But,
do you know, another celeb who's a Taurus rising as well is Miley Cyrus. And I literally just saw this earlier. I was like, oh yeah. And interestingly enough, like for a point in time, she also made weed her kind of like front, like her thing when she went through that kind of phase. And yeah, found that interesting.
Look at that. I'm actually digging up her chart right now on the spot. And
I'll get it up too.
Yeah, she's on the other end of the Taurus rising. She's basically at close to critical degree, or 28, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's interesting as well because she ended up stopping smoking weed completely. So that's sort of like, yeah, she's been there, done that. She was done with it. Not like Snoop, where he's just so obsessed with it his whole life.
To buy weed, yeah. Taurus, man, definitely ties in with nature. Definitely.
I know, and I did make a lot of points. I drew up a chart about how, you know, the side effects of weed, just like time with Taurus so much. I don't know if you want to hear about that, but
yeah, absolutely. Let's get into it. You know, I love the science of it. I love I'm not so much connoisseur, you know. I'd be the type if friends are around socially, but I'm not a proper stoner, if you know what I'm saying.
No, I was, but not anymore.
Care to tell? Care to share?
Yeah, well, interesting as well. I've got that Taurus rising again.
Mm.
And for a long time, something I realized, like I started smoking weed when I was about 13. So a long time ago, smoked it for a long time, like 6 years or something. And I did make weed a big part of my personality and how I met people and, you know, the first impression people had of me for a long time. And it really did take over my persona. And, you know, after a while, I found it hard to kind of like separate myself from it and to know like, oh, who am I without the weed in my life? Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I found that interesting with the Taurus rising, and I definitely think that plays a part in it. But obviously I've got Saturn like on the exact same degree as the ascendant. So when I decided to stop at the start of the year, that was it. I literally just stopped and haven't looked back. So it's definitely one of those like learning curves, and it took me a long time to learn, but I think that's just the nature of Saturn.
You think Pluto has anything to do with that? Because I find that Pluto can do a lot,
Yeah,
can have obsessive traits, but then it can reach a certain
yeah.
and it's just like cut off. It can just cut off. Just
Shall I look at the start of the year? Let's see what was happening with the transits.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Cool.
Let's see. Right, January 2021. Right. Let's do a few days back. Okay, it was about around here. Right, so let's go on the transits. So at this time,
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. Oh, I had ascendant sextile Pluto, and Pluto trine the ascendant.
Mhm.
So good intuition from you. You know that you're so well versed in this.
It is. It's because me being Moon Pluto,
Yeah,
yeah, I can cut things just off like that. It's sort of like when I cut off meat so many years ago. And
yeah,
also me, I'm Moon trine Ceres in Taurus. So Ceres is a slept on one. So
absolutely.
yeah, so for those listening, you may have heard that Pluto got downgraded to an asteroid at some point and Ceres got upgraded to a planet.
Mm,
I don't subscribe to. However, Ceres and the asteroids, I wouldn't sleep on them. So Ceres pretty much indicates your style of nurturing or how you like to be nurtured, and mine's in Taurus. So
yeah. So
more
food.
the creature comforts, can't forget sensuality. We haven't mentioned sensuality yet. So
Mm,
sensuality, excuse me, slowing down, and that ties in with my moon, and also with my respect for the divine feminine as well. You know,
yeah,
Taurus being a feminine element, yeah, have I naturally hold the divine feminine in high regards. Very appreciative.
mm.
You know?
Aw. You're such a softie, but
Yeah, I have my
no,
moments.
that's nice though. That's nice. I'm not dissing it. It's nice.
I do like quality as well. I've never been the type to say I need Balenciaga. I need that polo rugby top, you know. But
Yeah, I'm
I,
the same. I can't be asked for designers.
you know what I mean. I know when I see it, and premium's the main thing. And
Mm,
you know, I feel like even with fashion, you know, we can tie Taurus into so much if it
yeah.
premium and brands, literally brands. You know, I have so.
Mm,
Like that big Nike swoosh across the jumper, or that big Balenciaga writing across the chest. That's a Taurian construct right there.
yeah.
Branding, you know, putting the name of
Mm,
um, you know, Trump, the Trump Tower. He puts his
yeah.
name on it. Just people always show the Taurus, that possessive part that I have. This is mine, and it's interesting as well because the shadow side to that also is what's mine is mine, what's yours is mine. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. Like, I know for me, like in my relationships, I don't know, I can be very possessive. Like, I don't want to share. If someone eats my food or something, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like anything like that, I'm just like, oh, please don't touch my stuff.
Possessions.
I
Yeah.
know.
Create and go get and hold on to it. Yeah, they don't want
Yeah.
to. You know. But what do you think about Taurus and obsession? Because let's look at, we've got polarity. Like I said,
Yeah.
relationship is such an important word. I can't stress enough how
Yeah.
important that relationship word is in astrology, not just
Mm.
between the signs that follow each other, but also
Yeah.
opposite signs. You've got Aries and Libra, similar and opposite in certain ways. Taurus,
Hmm.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Taurus and
I
Scorpio
had,
can be obsessive. Sorry, yeah, go on.
no, that's fine. I was gonna say, like, it is sort of that, you know, like the basic things in life, the sex, the money, the
Mm.
things that you need to build a foundation. But I feel like obviously being polar, they're on each end of the spectrum. So Scorpio is more about that like intense connection. It
Mm.
wants the money, but it like wants other people's money and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Taurus is just more chill about it, just wants to have good sex, good food. Whereas Scorpio wants it like in a different way. Do you know what I mean? On a different level. It wants to experience it all. It doesn't just want that. It wants that and more.
Complexity, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
it's not where Taurus deals with simplicity, another
Mm,
key word. Um,
yeah,
yeah, Scorpio can have its complexities, but they are similar in certain ways in terms of being resourceful. You know, Taurus,
mm,
what it has and the talents that it has used to amass that wealth. The reason
yeah,
Scorpio is about digging deep psychologically as well. You know,
yeah.
not just the physical, but psychologically, the complexities, all these wheels turning, wheels turning, wheels. They they are different in certain ways. You know, Taurus will use the desires and the big appetite and the tastes, you know, the sensual drives.
Yeah,
Um, it's interesting because they both, when it comes to banking, like you said, the other people's money, um,
yeah,
I would associate Taurean vocations and careers with stockbrokers or working in the
yeah. Well, the bull market, isn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah. No, Wall
And
Street.
don't they have a bull statue in London in Wall Street or somewhere like that, Canary Wharf or something like that?
Like Wall
Maybe
Street.
I'm making that up.
No. The Wall Street. They've got the ball. Um, they've got the ball there. It's another excuse for people
Yeah.
on Instagram because I've got a picture of that ball there as well. Check it, give me a follow. You know. So, but yeah, that also ties in with the endurance and the stamina
Mm,
and the virility as well of,
yeah.
you know, it's takes a while to get started like a locomotive train, but once it gets started, oh mate, you know.
Yeah. And it's very passive as well, because I think like we've got this idea of bullfighters and that bulls just see red,
Mm.
but they're actually really calm until they're provoked so much they get really aggressive. And I think Taurus people are very the same. Like my brother has moon in Taurus and he is so chill all the time. But if you push him to the edge, he will be aggressive.
They don't play, they'll stay on it. But
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
are similarly to Scorpio,
I was thinking the exact same.
the word that comes to mind is unflinching.
Mm.
Don't
And
flinch.
like you said, very enduring, but
Yeah.
they both have a limit that they can be pushed to. But I feel like Scorpios hide it very well.
Oh yeah,
And
Scorpio.
that's a sign it keeps things under the water, but there's a lot under there.
Yeah, like ice, right? They say like the intensity of the
Mm,
is is not on the surface levels, much deeper.
yeah, absolutely. That iceberg image is definitely a Scorpio one.
Yeah. But with Taurus, there's just that chilled, relaxed belief. Scorpio
Yeah.
is calculating. You don't know what is going on there.
Yeah. They're figuring you out as
Yeah.
Scorpios.
Taurus is very earthy, very
Mm.
very organic as well, you know.
I feel like Taurus is probably like the most earthy sign in a way. I know Capricorn is more like rocks and stone and thing. Virgo is more like sand, isn't it? But I think Taurus really embodies that real like grass, nature, fields and things like that. The ones that we're most connected to. Obviously in England, you don't get many mountains, I don't think.
You go with all the fruit and veg grown in the soil.
Yeah, very, very abundant and very like fertile, isn't it? Where you can grow your crops and things, whereas you're not really going to be growing crops on a mountain. So
I'm a fan of buzzwords as well, and I'm really glad that you said that word right there.
hmm
Fertile.
yeah, absolutely. It's such a Taurian word. And funnily enough, obviously, when going back to its polar opposite, Scorpio, like they're both very sexual signs, which ties in with that. They've both got a lot of potential to create, which obviously links in with sex.
It does. Sensuality, essentially, as well.
Yeah, that intimacy as well for Scorpio.
No, I love that. I love that. I love keywords, and fertile. So important, you know.
Yeah, I feel like it often goes missed when people are studying Taurus, but it is a key one.
A lot goes missed, you know. So, the bodybuilder and sculpturing as well. You know, people who do those sculpture installations.
What, like, you mean like out of clay?
Whether it's pottery or ice sculptures.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just the sculpture in general. Yeah.
You being an artist yourself, I'm sure
Yeah.
appreciate those solid art installations, man. Like
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually always been quite drawn to sculptures. Like I've never made many myself except for in school, but that is always something I've loved. Like working with your hands and stuff.
Yeah.
And it literally is that building and creating like in the material, isn't it? It's not like the Piscean concept where it's very abstract and, you know, imaginative. It just is, isn't it? A sculpture. It just is.
But going back to 420 though.
Yeah. We got sidetracked.
We're gonna get the stoners mad. They're gonna be like, oh, I thought I was gonna be learning about 420.
Yeah, we're just going on about the signs and the polarity.
Real talk though. But what about the shadow sides of 420, marijuana and the abuse we say?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if we're talking just as a whole, I feel like when it comes to the abuse and sort of the detriment side of it, that also has links to Scorpio and Pisces. And one thing I did notice was that a lot of the celebs, I think every single one of the celebs I looked at that are like sort of known for smoking weed, they all had sorry, I was getting a message, it's putting me off. They all had Scorpio in their charts somewhere, every single one of them, and most of them had about 3 planets there. And obviously, like we said before, Scorpio is very obsessive, whereas Taurus is very chill with it and does it, you know, more as like a basic need to chill out. Scorpio does get compulsive. And then you've obviously got that Piscean concept where they want to escape. And again, that was another sign that came up a lot, even though it's not just about the signs, of course. But like you mentioned before in a different conversation, that Wiz Khalifa has that Pisces moon as well.
Does. Additionally to that,
yeah.
Remember I was correlating the moon and Neptune. He has moon Neptune as well. I believe he has that Pisces moon square Neptune.
Okay, so that's definitely the most sort of common thing that comes up with all these stoners. Like I'd have to cross-reference a few others, but I think that's a main thing that's coming up there. I don't know. Have I got moon Neptune? Let's see.
On a day-to-day basis. Because with the moon, some astrologers refer to the moon as the emotional security.
Yeah.
Day-to-day basis and the private you behind the blind.
Yeah. Your home life.
Yeah. The real you. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like I said in the earlier podcast, this is the socks on the floor, the messy you, the real you know, so
yeah, the one that only your family and closest people see.
You complain and bitch about. So
yeah.
Moon Neptune is sort of like a double. It's sort of like that moon in Pisces square Neptune is double Neptune, with Neptune being the tradition, what was it? The ruler of Pisces.
Yeah.
There's even more of a need to escape or be in that trance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I looked at my chart, I've actually got Neptune opposite the moon as well. And obviously my history with weed, don't know if that plays a part, but.
I mean, you're going to tell us that? You kept that under wraps.
I only just noticed, I haven't got into the aspect as much yet. Like, so I don't know mine off by heart, but I'm getting into it. You're teaching me, so it's fine.
Love. You're going to enjoy that part. Like
I know, I'm getting into it. It's just, it's in depth. But yeah, back to what we were saying.
So, my good mate over in Cali.
Nice, yeah.
Very, very wise, knowledgeable with the CBD, the cannabis life.
Yeah.
Passion Madness. She basically said to me that cannabis has a spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is quite
absolutely
deep. Quite deep. So it's like cannabis.
Go for it.
Has a spirit, and she is jealous. She's meant to heal your endocannabinoid system. Yeah. And if you choose to overindulge, she gets mental and drains you. Yeah. So what she was basically saying is smoke with intention always. She doesn't.
Yeah, that's really important.
She doesn't like to be used and abused. Shout out to Passion. On the back. So yeah, how do you feel about that?
That's really interesting, actually, and I definitely agree with that. Like, obviously, growing up in a place where so many people smoke weed, like so many people, I've seen a lot of people just go down a bad route of it, and I think it's interesting because it's portrayed as something that's so good and like, oh, it's so chill, it's good for you, like you're not gonna go mental from it. But even from my own experience, like it just does mess with your head when you do it every single day. And like a lot of people I know, like they got depressed, like they started to get like disconnected from their body and stuff, because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm smoking it to expand my mind, to have a good time, like you said, that intentional use of it. It was, oh, I need this to feel good, like, oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna smoke it every day, like that's just what you do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. What she said, like that's a really interesting viewpoint and very valuable as well. So big up that lady. I can't remember what you said, her name was Passion something on Instagram.
Yeah, secret CBD. She's doing her thing.
Yeah.
But the interesting part that got me was it can drain you. I've seen people drained as hell. They just have, a lot of people, not all of them, they have a drained look about them. The ones that have overdone it,
Yeah, absolutely. Like it ends up having the opposite effect, because it's meant to make you chilled out and like happy and stuff. And I think as well, like it ends up causing you to overindulge in those kind of like Taurean behaviors, overeating, oversleeping, and just being generally lazy. Like not for everyone, and it does depend on the strain and if you're being really over dependent on it. But it can take you into that shadow side of Taurus, like definitely, if we're talking about the link there.
Yeah, and there's also the Indicas and Sativas, which we can go into that if you want, or we can leave that for another episode. That seems really laboratory.
Yeah, I mean, like if we're going to touch on it briefly, like one thing I do think I have observed is like if we're going back to the link between weed and Taurus, so obviously the indica is what makes you more sleepy. It's more of like a bedtime high. Obviously I'm no like scientist, I'm no connoisseur on this, but just from experience, and it does make you more like mongy and lazy and tired, and that is very kind of Taurus. Like it is the more chilled out side of things, that you just want to stay in bed all day. It is that kind of vibe. And then on the other side you got the Sativa, which makes you very like awake and productive, and giggly and stuff, and like just very focused. And even I found sometimes when I used to smoke weed, like I would literally like tidy my whole room, like I'd feel great, like I'd do like get loads of shit done. And again, like that is very Taurus as well, because on the opposite side of like the shadow laziness, you've also got that productivity and that like determination to just get something done, and yeah, do it with no qualms.
Love that. And the indica is basically like the body high. I feel like the indica would give like a real body high and relaxed. It's more like a sleep aid kind of, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like that ties in with how, you know, Taurus is connected to the body. It's how we experience the world. It's how Taurus meets the world, you know. It's not worrying about dreams or anything kind of like Piscean, like now your feelings like Cancer. It's literally just about the body, the senses, what it can see, what it can hear. And that's also something that weed does enhance a lot. Like I always found when I smoked, you know, I'd be like, whoa, turn the light off, so bright. Or like just sounds would be really loud, colors would be really bright. Tastes are amazing when you're stoned. So that's something I found really interesting as well, the link between the senses, and weed heighten the senses, Taurus in the senses. So yeah.
I love that. You know, I love that you mentioned the senses and the taste as well, because it goes with the munchies, you know.
Yeah. Which is very Taurus as well. Like Taurus is the sign of food. I mean, obviously you got a bit of Cancer as well to a degree. But yeah, I find that interesting because obviously it's again that overindulgence with Taurus, and when you are stoned and you get the munchies, that's what it is. You don't know when enough is enough. Like you just think you're starving the whole time, and like you just love the taste. Like there's no limit there.
So you see how you can be more in your body when it comes to sex. You know, we're not necessarily saying everyone go and get high, but we're exploring we're exploring what is, you know.
Yeah. And I think like you said before with your friends, so important to do it with intention and in moderation, and just, you know, like not letting it take over your whole life, because weed is not a personality trait. Like being a stoner isn't a personality trait. And I just think that's something really important to clarify while we're here without sounding too much like that my Saturn on the ascendant there.
That Saturn descendant is real. But you know, we can't leave an episode, of course, charts and 420 without talking about the late Bob Marley. Pardon me, the great Bob Marley.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's Venus and he's a Scorpio moon as well. You know?
Yeah. Again, that Scorpio comes up a lot.
It does. Him and Snoop, they that Scorpio moon. And
yeah,
people be like, what do you mean he's dead? Well, charts don't die, you know, they still live on. So he has that Venus and Aries is that pioneer, get started. And it's like, I can't think of artists before Bob that really pioneered that influence of
yeah,
you know. And he's got Venus opposite Jupiter, and
okay, yeah,
and that Jupiter's on the midheaven, the career being that,
yeah,
the career being the angle is a PowerPoint. It's the PowerPoint. It's like your second ascendant, so people see that, you know, people see your status, your image, your reputation. And his Venus clearly had a penchant, you know, getting high, and also putting it in his lyrics.
yeah.
So that's
And interesting as well. Oh, sorry.
No, it's cool.
Interesting as well that there was that Venus Jupiter thing going on his midheaven, because obviously again Venus is that like love sharing, cooperation, and that was sort of the essence with a lot of his songs. And then, like, you know, it was expanded on such a huge level, which had Jupiter influence and had very like philosophical, worldly kind of tones with it as well in a lot of his music.
Big time. And he's Venus opposite Neptune as well. So
yeah. Again, that Neptune influence.
yeah, Neptune, the trance. When those outer planets get in touch with the inner planets, it's sort of like the Neptune. It's like the outer planets are saying, "Come here." So where's the outer planet? The outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto. Yeah, and they do the whole trance, the bliss. They add that blissful trance, rose tinted glasses when in a relationship texture to your
Yeah.
when they conversate with the Venus part of your inner sky,
Mm.
So he has that. I've got Venus square Neptune.
Uh-huh.
So I like the trance state sometimes as well. But the right way though, and
Yeah.
and without abuse. That abuse, doing too much, indolence. You can see how it ties in with Taurus, the shadow side of Taurus, the abundance, doing too much in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Overindulging. I think that's a big word for the shadow side of Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, again, very, very Jupiter, sort of more of a Jupiter tendency, but I don't know. Overindulgence in the physical realm, probably for Taurus.
Absolutely. So as long as Taurus concentrates on that stability, security,
Yeah.
Obviously
Grounding.
Not easily being ruffled, just having that endurance as well, then
Yeah.
it's all good, but it's about persistent continuing on enjoying the senses, and this is why the is exalted in Taurus as well. It enjoys all the creature comforts, all the senses, is abundant, and gives that to the family.
Stable. Yeah.
Stable, 2 feet on the ground.
And again, it's about that foundation from Taurus, and that's what the moon obviously loves, doesn't it? Because it doesn't want to be everywhere at once. It wants to be like rooted. So they go very well together.
Absolutely. And fabrics, premium, all of that stuff. So I see a Taurean get high in a nice Versace shirt or a shirt. Real premium jumper or something like that. So
well, that is interesting as well, because if you look at a lot of the stoners, they do kind of promote designer brands and things. And then as well, if you look at a lot of the kind of like grime artists and things, and they're always wearing specific brands, and a lot of their music does revolve around selling and smoking weed.
True. DEE's my favorite UK MC. Yeah, he's shout out to him. But yeah, he's doing his thing. They promote their stuff and they're chilled.
Yeah.
What about countries? I find it really interesting. Going back to that Sue Tompkins book as well. Contemporary Astrologer's Handbook. I like how she correlated Spain with Taurus.
Yes, I was just going to say this, and do you know what? That's so funny, because when I went to Barcelona with my best friend, they had weed shops there, and I can't remember exactly if it was legal, but they had like just like head shops where you could go and buy stuff. And I don't know, I don't remember if it was actually like legal to smoke there or what. There was some kind of law, but that's interesting. Again, the correlation.
So when you're not in a stadium watching the bullfighting, Taurus, you go to one of those shops and just
exactly. Buy a nice bong, buy a nice crystal pipe.
That's goals to do list right there.
Yeah.
Amsterdam, in the coffee shops, the weed cake. What about the cakes? That's a Taurean thing as well, isn't it? You're eating it as well.
Yeah, interestingly, again, like how Taurus rules the neck and the throat, and like to a degree the mouth, and weed is always ingested through the mouth, like unless it's in CBD oil that you rub on your skin or something. I mean, I've never tried CBD oil, but I assume that's what you do. Like the typical ways of getting high is always through the mouth.
And that also ties in with the Taurian part of the body as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
For obviously Aries pertaining to the head, and Gemini, where the body not splits into two, but where we go.
Where it has doubles.
Exactly.
Like the hands, the lungs. Yeah, sorry.
Shoulders, absolutely. Before we get there, it's Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's how we sustain ourselves, isn't it? How we sustain our life. Like we couldn't really do anything without our throat, like without eating, without speaking, coughing. Like, I don't know, there's loads of stuff, isn't there? Like, literally just like helps us with the basics of life.
That alone right there, special. I think out of everything that was said, that right there, 4 exclamation marks,
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Thank you.
I get rich and I get this start doing these real extra sound effects on radio stations and shit like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that was really insightful. And I don't know, do you have any more?
Well, I did think, like, going on to the other body parts connected to the other signs, like I was thinking after that, if we're going through like the phase of development through the signs, because obviously you start with the head, don't you? Like you come out of your mum head first, obviously, so you're starting with Aries, like that makes sense. And then, like I said, with Taurus, obviously, like you're sustaining your life, you learn to speak. Like even when you're a baby, like you throw up so much, and I think if you didn't, like you probably would die. I don't know how it would happen, but anyway. And then you get onto Gemini, like with the hands and the shoulders and the lungs, which is literally like your breath, your life. And with the hands, we could survive without them, but they're how like we make things, like we write, we express ourselves, we create things with them. So it's getting like into that more finite detail. So yeah, that's interesting how they all like represents the different sort of like developmental stages of life, and like even the ages, because obviously the signs are like connected to different ages, and we learn about these different things. So yeah.
that bit is, that's sort of like the genesis to the medical astrology as well, because when you have your ailments and things go left, Aries can get the migraine, the Taurus can get the throat issues.
Oh, the neck pain. I used to have tonsillitis like a lot when I was younger, and I always have a sore neck, and I think that's because of my Taurus influence.
Look at that. Gemini, the lungs, and it's not uncommon for Leo to have, the heart issues.
Yeah.
Pisceans,
the heart attack.
Pisceans to have gout. So, or Virgo. Me being a sun in Virgo.
Yeah.
Felt like I stepped into a brand new life when I cleaned my colon.
Oh yeah, because it's obviously to do with the digestive system, like not all of it, but some of it, isn't it? Like, what is it? Small intestine, I think, is Virgo.
The intestines. So basically,
it's just basically
obviously the governor that says you're not going here and you're going there. It's obviously separating what's useless and deciding, what's going to get passed after Libra to Scorpio to eliminate out the body.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The relationship, it's a relationship again, isn't it? These signs, they all relate. And, my moon in 7th loves that in true house fashion, I'll be using that word a lot because, just like there's a relationship between the elements and the sign after and the opposite polarities. Like
it's all connected.
Virgos can also wallow in the worst of Pisces and really go for that trance state, and like then getting out of their own way sometimes, not living in their head, so they want to do some recklessness to just but also that's just also goes to highlight the relationship as well between 420 and Taurus.
Yeah, and even the dates, like I feel like the dates are so important. Obviously that's like the groundwork of astrology is dates anyway, but even the fact that 420 is like either on the day or the day after Taurus season every year, it's just crazy stuff, isn't it, really?
And 6 is a very solid number, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that 4-2. So
Yeah.
numerology, I guess that's a whole nother episode right there.
Yeah, that's a whole different ball game.
Man, I like that. I like that chat. That was really insightful. And me, I love bouncing off perspectives anyway.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
for
It's
those,
nice, yeah. I like that we didn't just stay on the weed. I think it's good to reflect on everything.
absolutely. So, yeah.
Yeah, I probably need to eat my dinner now.
Look at that, eat your dinner in true
I
Taurus.
know.
Yeah,
It's true. I don't want to eat too late. That's my Saturn on my ascendant there. It's like I need structure. I need rules.
structural food as well. So,
Yeah.
obviously I'll edit some of that bit out. So what I'll do is where they can find you. So, Josie, it's been great chatting with you. Obviously, this is how we talk as well anyway. So
Yeah.
where can people find you? And you haven't said anything about your artwork, which is
I
your
know.
artwork as well, because you actually use like real canvases, the same sometimes as well. So how can people find you? How can people get in touch with you? How can people find out about more of your astrological insights and your astrological artwork, or just get to know more about you?
Okay, so my main platform is Instagram, and my username is josephine.vinten. And I post all about my artwork on my grid, and then I have some astrology content on my reels. And I am in the process of getting my website up, so soon, like, you'll be able to get readings from me and things. Obviously, I'm still on my astrology journey, so I'm still diving in, still getting things processed, but really Instagram is my main platform.
That's love. That's cool. So yeah, check out Josie. She's just giving you the links. And yeah, as for myself, you can catch me, Man of the Houses. You can catch me on Instagram at Man of the Houses. And you can catch me on Facebook. I have a little Facebook group on there, facebook.com/Man of the Houses. The website's still under construction in true Taurean form. Take time. And yeah, just started a YouTube as well. This is going on there as well. So yeah, that's how you can find me, Man of the Houses Astrology on YouTube. So we appreciate you locking in for this one. It's been a great one.
Yeah, it has. Always a pleasure to talk with you. And I hope we can do more in the future.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah. So you take care of yourself.